The moment the ECB told us rates are staying on hold, the news breaking on a Reuters terminal on the left there, on the right, the euro. Interestingly, we had a spike just seconds before the decision was made public. That then continued after the news broke. Mario Draghi's news conference then started 45 minutes later, during which the euro pulled back quite significantly, as you can see on that chart. This is me and Pierre Briançon watching the news conference that Mario Draghi gave. He does it every month, of course. Pierre joins me in the studio now for some analysis on that. And Pierre, I want to start with something that Draghi said at least 3 times in this news conference. Let's just hear the soundbite. It's about unanimity on the Governing Council.
The Governing Council is unanimous in its commitment to using also unconventional instruments within its mandate in order to cope effectively with risks of a too prolonged period of low inflation.
As I said, he said that, I think, what?
4 times.
4 times.
4 times. He went repeatedly back to the statement to answer reporters' questions after he had read the thing. So it is definitely the important sentence of today from the ECB viewpoint. What does it mean? 1, unanimous. No division, no differences, and we know in recent days that James Friedman, the Bundesbank chief, rallied around the idea that some unconventional measures were needed. Also unconventional measures, meaning we have not explored till the end the conventional ones, i.e. lowering interest rates. So we may do that further in the future. We are not done with that, but we can also explore. And third, low inflation. We're not talking the risk of deflation, but even low inflation is a risk serious enough for the ECB to act on. Of course, the whole question is what is prolonged period of low inflation and what is low in the eyes of the ECB, and they didn't give any indication about that.
I'm going to talk about the exchange rate in just a sec, but let's listen to the second soundbite that we've picked, talking about the discussion and how rich that discussion was. Here it comes.
There was, in fact, during the discussion we had today, there was a discussion of QE. It was not neglected in the course of what was actually a very rich and ample discussion. We talked about lower interest rates, we talked about lower deposit facility rate, we talked about prolonging the fixed rate full allotment, we talked about QE.
Interesting watching the tick chart of the euro as well there, Pierre, because as I said before, the euro came off quite a bit during the course of this press conference after spiking initially. In fact, there's the euro up on the chart there now, and that's because he did make reference to his concerns over this exchange rate.
Absolutely, and the second word that we just heard is QE, second important moment of that press conference. I think it's the first time Mario Draghi at this level mentioned the word QE as something that the ECB is seriously contemplating. Rich discussion, we're still at the exploratory phase, we are talking about a lot of other things. He mentioned liquidity operations but they're seriously talking about it, even though maybe on the QE and what constitutes QE in a Eurozone context, they may not agree together, and technically, probably the ECB is not ready yet to pounce.
Final soundbite. Christine Lagarde of the IMF has been very vocal in terms of coming out and saying what she thinks and what the IMF thinks the ECB should be doing. Mario Draghi clearly doesn't like what she's been saying, and this is what he had to say.
The IMF has been, of recent, extremely generous in its suggestions on what we should do or not do, and we're really thankful for that. The viewpoints of the Governing Council are, in a sense, different. And I would like the IMF to be as generous as they have been towards us, also with other monetary policy jurisdictions. Like, for example, issuing statements just the day before an FOMC meeting would take place.
He knew that was coming, right?
He didn't like that.
He didn't like that. He knew it was coming, but handled it extremely diplomatically.
You have to realize Christine Lagarde is just repeating what the economic department of the IMF has been saying for very many months. They are favoring, in the Eurozone, a loosening both of the fiscal and the monetary policy, by the way. And so it's in the order of things that Draghi doesn't like it, monetary policy is his thing, and the little thing about why don't they give some advice to the Bank of England or the Fed, why not?
All right, Pierre Briançon from Reuters Breaking Views on Mario Draghi at the press conference. ECB, of course, nothing on rates today. That's it from me. I'm Axel Throvel. This is Reuters.